Primetime local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Leanne Sanders. Gerald Albers, who has served 2 terms as mayor, announced today that he will be seeking another term. Albers explains how his connection to the community keeps him motivated.
Being connected to the community through council is very important because that's just an extension of myself and the team. And I think it's very important to have a diverse team that represents the interests, as I talked about, from the grade 4 students that always have great questions when I get a chance to speak to students in the school system, to our seniors and everybody in between, including the businesses and the residents each and every day.
A legacy-defining project for the mayor and for the city is the Cenovus Energy Hub, where Mayor Albers is confident in all angles of the new arena.
The decision was made by council that we had to move forward. It's an awful lot of money for the new Cenovus Energy Hub, but it will be a state-of-the-art facility that will meet the needs of our community today, tomorrow, and into the future. Just as the Centennial Civic Center was built to do that back in the 60s.
The election is set for November 13th of this year. A lot of people are fighting colds and flu this season. We talked to a pharmacist at Sprucewood Pharmacy to give us some insights on how to treat yourself for viral infections. According to Scott Malik, a non-severe case of cold and flu can be easily treated by resting, drinking water, and taking over-the-counter medication. Malik says there are signs and symptoms you should watch out for that point to more serious problems.
Particularly if you're experiencing significant shortness of breath, significant fatigue, then you would want to start to look into getting a physician assessment.
Malik also says there are ways to tell the difference between a cold and a strep A infection, but it's best to see a doctor.
The best way to find out for sure whether it is strep versus a cold is with a throat swab test or a physician visit and an assessment. Strep throat would require antibiotics. It's best to follow up with your physician if you're able to discuss whether that is indeed strep throat or differentiate from other possible causes.
If you are experiencing chest pain or extreme tiredness, it's best to go to the hospital or call 811 to seek help. A local ski shop has brought in their new 2024 gear, but how have their sales been affected by the weather? From boots and skis to bindings and snowboards, Boredom Snow Skate Life 2024 gear has arrived in the store. But with all this new gear, the store has had to deal with the unpredictable winter weather that Lloydminster has had.
Definitely started out a little slower because of the no snow this year, but now it's finally snowed. People are finally coming into the door, getting all their winter gears.
With the city's local hill, Mount Joy, opening for the season, Kirkwood hopes this can bring more foot traffic into the shop.
It definitely helped. A lot of people now are getting in through the door, looking at all the winter gear. So we got all the snowboards, we got all their skis, FXR gear, jackets, boots, helmets, goggles, you name it, we have it. So people are finally getting set up for winter.
The shop has equipment packages available for both skiers and snowboarders. Thomas Wildman joins me now for a first look at our weather. And Thomas, not much relief in sight in the short term.
Yeah, unfortunately for all of our pet owners, they're probably going to be needing to keep their dogs indoors and pretty sheltered up because, yeah, the weather's not going to be looking a lot better. It's going to be getting a little bit better as we get into the weekend and a little bit into next week. But certainly considering the conditions right now, we're way below where we should be considering what it is right now here in January. So looking at it for today's normals here, the high of -21 is considerably lower than the normal high of -9, and that low of -27 is plenty below that -20 mark that we're usually looking for. Still a lot less snow though than we usually have here in January in the Great Border City. -21 over the Lloydminster Airport right now, with wind chill is all the way down to -32. It's not the loveliest conditions out for us here, and it's especially going to get cold as the night goes on. North Battleford sitting at -19 and just a little bit warmer than us with the wind chill at -29. And going now to Cold Lake, they're going to be sitting at -18, the warmest of the three here, with wind chill at -25 for them. Taking a look at the current temperatures in our region, we already talked about Lloydminster. Marwayne is looking at about the same place as us as well at -21. Wainwright and Provo sitting at -21 as well. As we get further west, Vermilion and Vegreville sitting at -20. Edmonton, one of the warmer places here in Alberta, at -18, as well as Cold Lake. Bonnyville sitting at -20, and Lac La Biche and St. Paul sitting at -19. Then looking elsewhere here on the Saskatchewan side, Pierceland and Green Lake at -18, Meadow Lake at -17, St. Walburg also at that -20 mark, similar to North Battleford, Maidstone at -21, and Macklin sitting at the cold -22, and Al Lacrosse sitting at -19. Now taking a look at tonight's forecast, as mentioned, it's going to be plenty cold, -27, clear but very cold, and with wind chill, it's going to be plenty unfortunate. So if you got any late night activities, make sure you got your toques and mitts out. 25% chance of precipitation. That probably will be a light flurry at most. Taking a look now at North Battleford, -26. It's going to be mainly clear and very cold with a precipitation of 25% chance there. So very similar to us. Plenty cold there out in Saskatchewan, and Cold Lake is going to be the coldest of us all here at -30, though it's going to be nice and clear though, so probably not a huge wind chill, but at -30 you're still going to freeze no matter what. And now we'll take a look quickly at the 3-day forecast here. Tomorrow we're going to be sitting at -20 with a -23 as a low. Then, as I mentioned, on the weekend, we're going to get a little bit hotter there. -14 as the high with a low of -18. And then on Sunday, there's a 65% chance of snow there. Only going to be about 0 to 1 centimeter of snow, though it's going to still be plenty cold with some wind chill there. But that is going to do it for our first look here at the weather forecast. We will have some more news headlines coming up after the break.
Agrivisions will once again be rocking the Lloyd X February 14th to 15th, and it promises to be another great edition of the event for agricultural enthusiasts here in the border city.
Today I'm happy to be joined by Tammy Dick, the event administrator for Agrivisions, which will be coming up next month. And so thank you so much for being with me today, Tammy.
Thanks for having me.
And for those who are unaware, what exactly is Agrivisions?
So Agrivisions is a agriculture-based trade show, conference. We have multiple speakers that come and speak about specific topics. We have some of the biggest companies coming from. So we've got Eggland, Redhead, all of those ones will come and they set up places for you to come and network with a bunch of like-minded people.
And Tammy, who are some of the keynote speakers that are going to be attending the 2024 edition of Agrivisions?
So our keynote this year is Vance Crowe. He will be speaking on, his topic title is The Art of Picking Up Nails. So basically it's a breakdown of how to create conversations and kind of choose your outcome. So you have to trust and influence that outcome. So that's what he will be speaking at. So he will be keynoting at the banquet. So that is February 14th at the Heart of the Farm banquet. A few of our other speakers, we have some nice and local ones. Charlotte Waslick from Chatworth Farm, she'll be speaking on kind of the direct marketing, as that seems to be the way our world is going, is definitely taking into social media plays such a huge part. We have a drought panel, as well as Dr. Trent Wennekamp is going to talk about avoiding cattle health disasters in a drought, which unfortunately I think is going to be a big issue this year. Between the lack of rain that we had and now our lack of snow, definitely those farmers are going to feel that. So it just kind of helps you prepare for what I feel might be coming for this next year. We have Brianne Tideman, who's talking about the kochia, which was a weed that was gone and not in our area, but for whatever reason, where I guess the farmers are now finding it in their fields. So yeah, so we have an agronomy panel, a succession panel. Yeah, I think it's a wide range between cattle as well as grain. So definitely a little bit for anyone around our area.
And finally, if people are interested in AgriVisions, whether they're a business looking to try and get a spot on the show floor and or just somebody looking to attend and get more information, where can they go to find all that information?
So this year we actually sold out of all of our trade show booths. So we are full for this year, but definitely you can go to our website, the lloydx.com, and definitely send an email, reach out to us. You can email me directly at eventadmin@lloydx.com, and we can put you on an email list if it's something you think you'd want next year. We have banquet tickets you can purchase online. Again, if you go to our website, there's a direct link. All you have to do is click AgriVisions, schedule as well. Go into that AgriVisions, click on that link that says who's speaking and speaker schedule. All of their topics are there, and you can kind of choose what you'd like to do. You can also purchase speaker session tickets at the door. So it's $20, or you can sign up for one of those conference packages and you can pick full day, 2-day, as well as your banquet tickets. So if you're an in-person, come on down to the office. If you're an online, go ahead, head to our website, click on that AgriVisions, and you can go ahead from there and pick what you're wanting.
Thank you so much for all the information, Tammy, and I know a lot of people are looking forward to the 2024 edition of AgriVisions.
Yes, it's definitely one of our bigger ones. So we have a good lineup coming. So I'm pretty excited.
Now here are your agriculture prices for today.
I'm joined by Audrey Greaves, a director of the Paradise Hill Dinner Theater, as we talk about an event they're putting on as they host the play It Happened on Route 66 coming up in a couple of weeks. Audrey, thanks so much for your time today. How's it going?
Oh, really good. Yeah. We're getting all ready for our big night.
Awesome. So what is this event that you're putting on? Can you tell me a little bit more about it?
It's a community theater, and then we've got a dinner as well. And it's all hosted by Paradise Hill Community Center. And so, yeah, it should be an awesome evening.
So when is the event, Audrey?
It's February 2nd and February 3rd, Friday and Saturday nights.
How can people get tickets to the show, and who do they contact?
Well, they can call the Paradise Hill Village office. And let's see, the number there is 306-344-2206. So that's Monday to Friday, 8:30 to 4:30.
I know you guys offer a food service as well. Can you tell us a little bit about the dinner options that you guys might have coming up?
Well, it's catered by our sort of in-house caterer, Leanne. And so it'll be a fried chicken. So this play takes place the setting is in the 1950s. So we try to keep the menu sort of like a diner menu of the 1950s.
And is this the first year that you guys are putting on this event, Audrey?
This is actually the, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, about 5th or 6th. We started in 2017.
And lastly, are there any other events going on at the Paradise Hill Dinner Theater coming up in 2024?
Probably not, but I'm sure we'll be putting another one on next year.
Thanks so much, Audrey. This sounds like a great event for anyone who wants to go and watch a play or just simply get out of the cold weather. Thanks again, Audrey.
That's right. Well, thank you very much.
Furniture set and design supplied by Furniture Gallery, downtown Lloydminster.
We have a special guest today on Primetime Local News. Daniel Hayter is with us. Daniel is the Senior Product Manager with cheapaware.ca. Daniel, thanks for joining me today.
Hi, Stacy. Thanks so much for having me on the show today.
You guys have released a travel outlook for 2024, and there are some changes that tourists can expect to face. So let's just get into it now, and we'll start about talking some of the changes that people who are traveling can expect to see this year.
Yeah, and this is really important for us. We really want to make sure that we're constantly monitoring the market, understanding that making sure that our content is relevant to our customers and understanding the trends in the market. So I'd be happy to share with you some of our findings. I think probably to start with, the first thing that we believe will happen in 2024, and probably the most important thing for Canadian travelers, is that we're forecasting a decrease in airfare early this new year. This is actually a trend that started late last year, so late in 2023. There was a really interesting report that was released by Statistics Canada, and they started to see at the end of last year that airfares were already starting to decrease. I think specifically in October 2023 compared to October 2022, they observed that airfares had dropped on average 19.4%, so almost 20%, as a year-on-year drop to October 2023. They reported similar changes for August and September. So that's really encouraging. We really think that's going to continue in the start of this new year, 2024. It's important to keep in mind, though, it can be a challenge to accurately predict airfares. The pricing is very, very dynamic. But we think that this recent downward trend that started at the end of last year is going to continue in 2024, and that bodes well for cost-conscious Canadians in 2024. However, on the other hand, we also do expect some travel costs to increase. I can go over some of those in detail too, if you want to hear more about
Absolutely,
those.
yeah. Unfortunately, with the good comes the bad. So, I mean, I
That's
guess I don't
right.
want to, I don't want to say bad, but it's just some changes. So, yeah, let's talk about
Just some things to be aware of.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
let's chat about some things that are going to be increasing.
Yeah, and the first one for everyone to keep in mind is the Canadian government has recently announced a series of airport security improvements for 2024, and these will result in higher costs for Canadian travelers. Obviously, security is something that we can all agree is of the utmost importance, but also it's key to understand what are the costs associated. And I can give you some examples. So starting in May of 2024, so this is just a few months away, the new air travel security charge on a one-way ticket within Canada will increase to $9.94. On a flight to the United States, it'll increase to $16.89. And I think for overseas, outside of Canada and the US, it's increasing to $34.42. So none of these are large fees, but these smaller things can add up. And that's very important for travelers to keep in mind when they're booking travel either domestically to the United States or internationally. We're also expecting some popular travel destinations who are maybe starting to struggle with overextended tourism. This is something we observed as well in 2023, maybe a result of revenge travel and the return to travel that occurred after the pandemic. These are destinations that are charging a tourist fee to have tourists come visit. Some places have referred to this as a tourist tax as well. Some really popular destinations. So for example, traveling to Barcelona or traveling to Thailand, these destinations have already introduced a fee, and we expect other destinations will probably follow in their footsteps in 2024. The important thing here really is just to make sure that you do your research before you book travel to understand what the costs are going to be, and we expect we're going to see more of these tourist fees.
And
I
also,
think
you
the final
mentioned
thing that
too.
we
Sorry, I was just going to say in regards to Europe. I'm guessing that's what you're getting to, is that there's a change for those who are going to be traveling to Europe.
That's right. So this isn't necessarily a cost, but it's something that we really think all travelers should be aware of. In 2024, this is something new for anyone traveling or transiting through Europe, and it's called the European Travel Information and Authorization System. And it's going to require all Canadians who are either traveling to visit in Europe, or if you're even just connecting on a flight through Europe, to complete and pay for a pre-screening registration form. It's all going to be online. But what this means is that if you're traveling or to Europe, or if you're connecting through Europe, you will need to apply for this ETIAS, it's called ETIAS visa, and go through all of the security screening in advance before you travel. So it might seem like a bit of a small obstacle for travels and for planning, but it's important to note that this will be mandatory. So that's also something that will be coming up in 2024.
Well, Daniel, with the cold weather, lots of people are deciding to get away now, even if it's last minute. So at CheapAware, what are you seeing as far as people booking destinations? I'm guessing the hot destinations are popular?
That's right. So we've got some recent data that we've been looking at here, and this is something that we monitor all the time because we want to stay really close to understanding the destinations that our customers are booking travel to. And no surprises, especially given the latest cold weather that we've been experiencing, certainly here in Toronto. Sun destinations are very popular. So in the top 10, we've got Orlando, we've got Cancun, Fort Lauderdale, Puerto Vallarta, all obviously around the Caribbean area. Those are very, very popular winter destination getaways where the weather is obviously warmer. Interestingly, in the top 10 and very specific to CheapAware's customer base, we have Manila and Delhi. So those are also often very, very popular destinations with our specific customer base. And then we're still seeing a lot of domestic travel. So travel in Canada across the major cities. In the top 10, we've got Toronto, Vancouver, Calgary. Those are all in the top 10. But I think definitely seeing a trend of people trying to get away from the cold weather and get down to the Caribbean or get to a sun destination to enjoy the warmer weather there.
All right, Daniel, well, thank you for chatting with me today. And once again, if people are looking to reach out for any of this information or to book flights, how do they find you?
So the easiest way is to look onto the website. So it's cheapaware.ca. You can visit that on your computer, or if you prefer to install the app on your smartphone, that's available too. But it's cheapaware.ca.
All right, Daniel, well, thanks so much for joining me once again, and stay warm.
Thank you so much. Have a good one, Stacey.
And that is all we have for you this evening. Have a great evening. Have a good night.